Yeah, when you're done, go ahead and follow the next steps. So you're going to score it yourself. So whenever you're done, go ahead and score your own survey. We are going to move on from this, and we'll talk about it here in a second, but give you some free time. Yeah. So we'll give you about 2 more minutes, score it, get your score at the bottom, and then we'll talk about it when we get into presentation. Okay, does anybody else need just a little bit more time? Yeah. Okay. Give you 1 more minute. You got 1 minute. Make it fast. Yeah, 1 minute. I know math's hard.
Squad leaders, what are your counts? Looks like we may be missing a couple.
Brody, Venus. Raise your hand for squad 2.
Already know.
Team 2.
Pretty sure. Okay. That might have been. And we're rolling, so whenever you.
Okay.
Team 2, everybody, hold your hands up. Team 2. Stand up, Team 2. Stand up on your team leader. On your feet.
Team 2, stand up.
Pay attention because they're going to assign new team leaders for tomorrow. And accountability is part of our process.
We have everybody?
Okay, so we're going to get started. I think we have a couple military in, that'd be fine. So, kind of introduce a little what we're going to be talking about this afternoon, evening, whatever you want to call it from there. Introduce a little bit about myself. My name is Meyer, from Raleigh, Missouri. Little background, if you want to know. Was a 4-time state champ for Missouri, class 2. Originally from Monett, Missouri, a little bitty small town. It's like 8,000 people, not very big. Went off to California, so wrestled for Stanford University. Was there for 4 years. Ended up getting hurt one of those years, so redshirt, got hurt 1 year. Was able to qualify for nationals. Was able to go to 2 from there. Did get to wrestle Matt Brown. Kick the crap out of him. You know, it is what it is. Right. After that, I then went on and got my master's in sports psychology at Tennessee University, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, is performance or sports psychology. So that's my job. Currently, I work with the Army. I work with them at Fort Leonard Wood, doing sports psychology for them, for most of the trainees, but also drill sergeants, so on and so forth, 68 former Army civilians, all that good stuff from there. We're going to highlight a portion more towards sports. And we're going to hit on 4 topics today. So here's the 4 topics we're going to talk about today. Overall, so we're going to talk about mindset, growth mindset specifically, talk about your confidence, talk about dealing with pressure and results, and then how to use imagery to your advantage. So we're going to talk about those 4 topics. So kind of think about those, how you can utilize those. So you take these 4 things away, start implementing not only in training here, but also afterwards. If you have further questions to me, kind of an overview, so I call it Sports Psych 101, because it's not going to go too much depth. We're going to go in a decent amount of depth, but not too much because we only got about an hour here. Okay, some of these, if you have more questions, obviously I'm here to answer as many questions as I can while you're here these next several days. Cool? So I always like to ask this question, one of my favorite questions. I'll tell you why here in a second. But they ask this a lot in sports psychology. How much of wrestling, specifically wrestling, is mental? If you had to put a percentage on it, how much of wrestling is on the mental side? 45, you say? What you got? 85? 90? Okay. 65 to 70. 70, okay, so we can kind of agree with that, right? So, now, the question is how much time do you spend on the mental side of the sport? So not thinking technically, not thinking tactically, not thinking about the physical side or conditioning. How much do you spend on the mental side? Is that 5%?
I thought you said
Oh yeah, yeah. What do you got? How much time? Like a percentage? What'd you say?
like
100% mental? Okay.
all this way.
All mental? Okay.
If you were all mental, you'd have no physical. You
Yeah.
gotta have some physical. You can't wrestle with it.
So how many of you are percentage lower than what you said was important for? Right? Most of you are, right? And this is why it's my favorite question, because that question is not a good question. Because while you say it's 70% mental, I would disagree with it. I would say it's actually a lot less. Right? Because if you don't have the physical skills, then you can't go out there and perform. If you don't have the technical skills, right? What we've just been working on for an hour and a half, or 3 hours today, if you don't have that, then it doesn't matter how mentally strong you are. Right? If you don't have the endurance, if you don't have the tactical, which means like the decision making, you can't perform. Now, is the mental side important? Yes, it is. It's very important. And when you get to the elite level, we're talking like Olympics, we're talking college, we're talking those, then that percentage seems like it's so much lower because everybody technically is about the same. Right there. They're physically about the same. Their endurance is about the same. What makes the biggest difference on that elite level is the mental side. What are they capitalizing on? And I also don't like the second question because the second question says you aren't utilizing, you have to do it on its own time. I'm actually going to show within here that you can actually utilize this during practice. And you should. You should be really focusing on how am I making sure I'm confident, how am I making sure you're using this visualization, how am I using this in complementary with the technical skills, the tactical skills, the physical skills. So I want you to think about this. Sports psychology has to be a separate own thing. Right? I want you to try to involve it, try to think about this, involve it as a part of the technical training you're doing, the tactical training, and also the physical training. You can use the mental toughness while you're doing workouts. We're getting that endurance within that. Okay, so that's why I kind of really like that question. A lot of people put out, you should do more mental. Yes, you should be doing more of the mental skills, but you don't have to separate time. Right? You don't have to find time in your day. You just have to incorporate it as a part of the training that you're already doing. Now, the first thing I'm going to have you all do, I like to have activities. I'll have some volunteers. So I'll have some people come up to the front as well. I do a lot of engagement because you all typically don't, as coach said, focus, attention sometimes wanders a little bit. So we're going to do several things. So first thing, I know some of the coaches have already been kind of cheating a little bit out here. But what I'm going to have you all do, right, is I'm going to do one thumb up and one finger out. Everybody can do that, right? Everybody's thumb and finger. Cool. Not the same hand, different hands. So one thumb, one finger on different hands. And then all I'm going to have you do, right, super simple, I'm just going to have you switch. Yeah, so you don't have one thumb up and one finger out. And if you get really good at it, you can try to pinky as well. Okay, here we go. So, this is where I ask for volunteers. So I'm going to ask for some volunteers from you all. Coach, you can be included if you want to. Right? Who would like to come up here on our stage in front? So we know if you're volunteering.
That's just my mental already.
Okay. So I'm going to have you volunteer for those that want to come up here to the front to see who can last the longest doing this without messing up.
Hey, I got you.
Yeah? You drink more?
He did not put it on. I do not go fast. I do not go fast. All we gotta do
Yeah, go ahead, get on the stick. Go on the stick. Go on the stick. Yeah, you got it. Yeah. Hey, so you guys know that one? Okay, so we got these right here. So what you guys are going to do, you're going to watch, right? If you know their names and they're trying to cheat, you can call them out for it, right? But all you are going to do, you're just going to start one thumb up, one finger out. When I say go, you're just going to switch back and forth. Don't go as fast as I was, but it's like 1 second. It's like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Just keep going. We're going to see who can last longest. So if you mess up, you're just going to put your hands down by your side and stay right where you're at. Make sense? Yeah, you guys good? Okay, here we go. You guys ready? Okay, here we go. On your mark. Get set. And go. Here, down to 2, down to 2. Gotta be coach, gotta be coach. Okay, for interest of time, you guys can decide, you guys can decide. So, coach, what's your name? Isaac, let's get 2 guys. So, guys, take a seat. Now, many of you are probably asking, why are we doing this? What's that have anything to do with what we're talking about? It does have to do with our first topic for today. I'll tell you why here in a second. But the first thing we're going to talk about is, how many of you have heard of growth versus fixed in school before? Okay, some of you have talked about it before, right? And I'm going to really relate it. They usually talk about it in terms of academics. It did come from the academic world, but it really resonates very well with sports, especially wrestling, especially practice. So I want you to think about, in practice, in this last practice we just had, I want you to think about, right, how your mindset is in that practice. So there's different technique. Maybe it was the Greco this morning. I want you to think about some of your interactions, your behaviors in that situation in regards to our different dimensions. With these dimensions, we have it within fixed and growth. So these are 2 different mindsets you have. Essentially what a mindset is values or beliefs that you have, whatever you hold on to, right? It can go one way or another. And you think about this growth and fixed on a continuum. You guys know continuum, right? Math class, right? Like one side, the other sliding scale type of thing. Most of them are probably going to be somewhere in the middle. Your survey in front of you is actually going to tell you a little bit where you're at. And we're going to get that to that in a second. But first, we have this fixed versus growth. So fixed mindset, we'll start with that one. Fixed mindset is essentially that you value and believe, you think that your skills, your abilities, and your talents are fixed. Right? It's called fixed mindset. Makes pretty sense. It's kind of like having a glass ceiling on yourself. You've ever heard of that, right? Like you only have so much potential, right? You only go so far, right? Or do I have any car guys in here? Right? Really into cars? You might know what a governor on a car is. Yeah, what's a governor on a car? What's it? Yeah, regulated speed, right? They usually put on like buses or box trucks or those kind of things, so they don't go too fast. That engine can go faster, it can do more, but that device essentially limits how much it can do. That's essentially what fixed is. You could have more potential, you could do more, but your values and beliefs prevent you from getting to that potential. And this could be in any environment, whether it's maybe in math, right? Creativity, a lot of people think about it in art, right? I'm either artistic or I'm not artistic. I'm good at math or I'm not good at math. I'm good at this takedown, I'm not good at this takedown. And we see it with these behaviors. Now, thinking about it from that fixed mindset, what do you all think that fixed mindset people, that they think their skills, ability, talents are fixed, how do you think they're going to deal with challenges? Challenging situations. So raise your hand. Where's that? Not as well. What do you mean by not as well? Yeah, they try to go away from it, right? They try to, right, avoid it overall, right? And typically you also hear this when people, and I hear this a lot in high schoolers, especially like, oh man, I would have done better if I would have tried harder. Like, of course, right? Like, if you would have tried harder, you probably would have done better. They don't, because they don't want to go into it, they want to lean into it, because if they fail, a lot of people with fixed mindset say, I am a failure. Not what I did was a failure, but I am that failure. And now I can't do it again and going forward from there. So that is avoiding. Now when it comes to effort, what do you think they do with effort?
Yeah, they don't put a lot. They don't put a lot of effort.
Yeah, and why would you think that they wouldn't put a lot of effort into this?
They're scared of failure.
Scared of failure?
Like not even like they're just like scared that if they do the most and still fail, then that.
Yeah, and also it's a little bit worthless. Because why put effort into something? If I have this wall and I'm pushing really hard into that wall's not going to move. Right? Unless I push really, really hard. So I'm putting effort into something and it's not going to move. That's what they think because it can't get better. Right? Why put effort into something that is not going to improve? And then also when they have setbacks and obstacles, what do you think they do when they have something that is hard and difficult? They give up. Yeah. Give up right away. They went perfect right on. Good thing to plan. They give up. They think that's the finish line. Not that they can continue through, but they think that that is the farthest I can go. And feedback. So you guys got feedback so far from your coaches, from the other people in the room. Right? If you have a fixed mindset, what do you think you're going to do with that feedback? Not pay attention to it, right? Not utilize it, because no matter what the coach says, no matter what they tell me, I'm not going to improve. They can tell me what to do, but I just can't do that. I can't move my leg in that way. I can't get into a stance in that way. I'm not fast enough. I'm not quick enough. I'm not strong enough for that. Right? And so typically, they ignore that feedback. They don't listen to it. They don't try to implement it at all. And then lastly, I see this especially a whole lot in high school, right? It's other people's successes. When somebody else has success, say somebody else in the room, right, is winning a lot, or they're doing the skills really well, or coach highlights them, hey, look, this person's doing awesome. What do you think fixed individuals do?
Jealous.
They get jealous? Is that what you're saying? Jealous. They usually are threatened by it. Because if this is them, and they're doing really well, and this is me, I can't get above them. I can't improve above them. And so typically what happens is they usually undercut them. You guys ever seen that in high school? They try to sabotage them, try to make them feel bad, try to push them down. Because that's the only way I'm going to beat them. Now that's a fixed mindset. It's not where we want to be, but that might be where some of you might be leaning towards. I'm not saying all the way, think about that continuum once again, but I might lean towards that direction. On the opposite side is growth mindset that understands that my skills, ability, talents can improve. I mean, none of us knew how to walk when we were born. We had to learn. We had to first crawl, and then we had to be able to stumble a little bit along the way. We learn things along the way, and that's how growth mindset understands. Now, fixed tried to avoid. What do you think growth mindset tries to do with challenges? They go after it, right? They try to go after it. They embrace those challenges. They actually look for those challenge situations. They want to see, how far can I go? Where am I on this line? I might not do well, but I know now where I'm at and where I need to improve. And that goes in with the effort. They usually put in a lot of effort because they understand that's key to mastery. Remember, master skill, I gotta put a lot of effort in things. And then obstacles, right? What do you think they do with obstacles and setbacks? Drive through them, persist through them, right? Because, and let me ask you all this, right? How many of you have achieved a goal where you didn't really have to try very hard? Right? Like participation trophy, everybody have that? How satisfying was that?
Not very satisfying.
Not very satisfying, right? But if you had to overcome some setbacks, if you had to struggle through something, if you had to put a lot of effort into it, how satisfying was that goal? It was very satisfying. Because growth mindset understands that there are things that are going to be in your way. If it's just an easy cakewalk, it's not very satisfying. They understand that you have to push through some things. You have to overcome obstacles. That's a part of the process. Part of the process is overcoming these things that other people can't do. That's what makes those elite. That's what makes those that push beyond them. And what do you think they do with feedback? So if somebody's getting feedback, they try to incorporate it, right? They try to incorporate it into what they do. They seek out that feedback. Right? Instead of the coach walks by and you do it, you're not really knowing how you're doing it very well. You're like, yeah, I know I'm not doing it perfect, but I don't want to ask coach because I don't know about that feedback. I don't know if I can implement that feedback. I don't know if I can do what they're asking me to do. So I'm just going to let them walk by. I'm not going to look for it and ask for that feedback. And then lastly, other success. So instead of feeling threatened, what do you think growth mindset tries to do? They're motivated, right? It's almost like if you can do it, I can do it mentality. The idea that I feel inspired by them. And also I can also learn. If they are doing something I'm not and they're succeeding, then probably do what they're doing. Right? And if they're putting a lot of effort, then I gotta put in more effort. If they're trying things and in practice they're being willing to push outside their boundaries to try something and I fail, that doesn't mean I'm a failure. It doesn't mean the challenge that it comes, but it just means my attempt. At this point, I'm not good enough, but that doesn't mean I can't be good enough. Because what growth mindset's about is not where I'm at now, it's where you're going to become, especially for you all. Right? I know us coaches have talked about it so far that you didn't have to start wrestling at age 5 in order to be a Olympic champion. You don't have to. You've got to have a growth mindset though. If you don't want to try and improve, there's many people, right? I can think of several off the top of my head, people who started when they were 7th, 8th grade, or even high school, and were able to make it to that level, because they put in the work. Now this is why I had you all, do this little task, because I gave you all a little bit of a challenge. Alright? Even those who kind of got a little bit ahead of time. Some of you all looked at me like, yeah, that looks dumb. Alright, I'm not going to do that. Alright? And then some of you tried it out, right? Like, my fingers don't really work very well that way. And you're like, I don't want to see anybody know that I'm not good at this thing. Right? And so we don't put effort into things. We're not persisting through challenges. I'm not saying you have a fixed mindset just because of this task, but it could lean towards that direction. And then I give a bigger challenge for you all. Who wants to come up here in front of your peers and try it out? See if you can do it. And we have only 6, so would we, 70 kids in here? 70 something kids. I'm not very good at math, but that's somewhere around 10%-ish. I don't do public math. But the idea is that many of you all, right, didn't do it. Now, did all of our volunteers, were they good at the task? No, some of them messed up like right away. Right? And once again, the growth mindset is not about, right, where I'm at here. It's if I continue putting in, right, continue trying, giving myself a challenge. I want you to think about that in practice today, right? More of a self-reflection, rhetorical question. You can think about it to yourself, or even journal if you have that in front of you. Where were you at today? Were you trying those skills, or were you just going back to? Because I know that there was people when we were working on, right, the collar tie, and we were working on getting by just to that outside single. Coach is doing. Some of us were hitting doubles and straight on doubles. That's not trying and embracing the challenge, because I'm going back to what I'm good at already. And it's not going out there and trying to see, I might fail. And you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail quite a bit. As Jaden said, I don't know about we all suck, but we all fail on a very regular basis, and you want to try to give yourself up. That's what that's all about. That's the opportunity for me to improve from there. Now, you all took your survey. Now you can get not only an assessment from here, but here's your own assessment. So look at your number, whatever you calculated up on your scale there. And if you were between 45 and 33, you have more of that, leaning more towards that growth mindset. If you were 32 to 24, you're kind of in that middle, still leaning a little bit there. If you're down here, okay, here we go, listen up, good question. Listen up, I can hear you. Yeah, I'll go back to the very end. You can look at it very end, right? And so, listen up. This is just one assessment, right? This isn't the end all be all. If you are lower on this scale, that doesn't mean you have to stay in fixed mindset. You can change, you can take this opportunity now, the next several days, and commit to more of what we're talking about, these behaviors that we're talking about. That's what we're looking for you all to do. And that's the first idea that we have, is trying to get more towards this growth mindset. Because I see those, kind of last one, we'll get to our next skill. Anybody heard of draft busts? You guys know an NFL draft bust or any draft busts? What are draft busts? Yeah, so they're good in college, right? You can go Johnny Sell on some of those, right? Like really good in college. And then all of a sudden, some types of behaviors, but most of the time they also play out because they just don't make it to the next level. And you can see that in high school and college. For wrestling, you can see that from college and international. Because that next level, you have to continue to improve. You can't just rely on the talent you had so far. You have to adapt. And if you don't adapt because you have a fixed mindset, you won't make that next jump. And that's what we're trying to get you all to think about early on, right, in your career. If you think about going to the next level, and the next level after that, start leaning towards more of this growth mindset. Cool with that? Yeah? Okay, we're going to go a little bit of a hard transition to our next topic, but I need two volunteers. Who want to do my volunteers? Yeah? One, and there's right here. Come on up. Guys, little people. What do you guys?
I got a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
That athlete, if their coach is more of a fixed mindset praise type person instead of a growth mindset praise, what do you suggest for them to do to how to look into that to overcome? Because sometimes that gets forced on them because of that external influences.
Yes. So, we talked this a whole bunch. We might talk more offline. But the idea, right, is, yes, you might get out external, right, praise or external feedback on things that are much more like success, right? Are you winning or are you losing? Right? We'll talk about that a little bit later with success and failure. But also the idea that, right, they're always looking for, right, this is your good skill. Continue doing your good skill. Don't try anything else, right? But you also got to understand from this idea of growth mindset as well, is you got to focus on what you can control. What you can control in situations. You can control what effort you put into practice. You all don't always get to choose what you're practicing, right? But you can control what you're doing in the practice. They're giving you this technique. I can still work hard on that technique. I can give myself, and I'm leaning towards it. Hopefully you have a staff that's not all fixed mindset. They might be, right? But if you focus on where you have control, right? The effort in practice, right? Setting goals, making sure that I'm trying to improve my process, not just the outcome, then start to lean more towards that growth mindset. Yeah. We want more on top. Okay, any other questions? Sorry. Good with that? Okay, so you gotta come up here to the front, right? And so this is what I'm gonna have you all do. Yeah, you can just stand up here for a second, right? So what I'm gonna have you all do is I'm gonna have you repeat a phrase 10 times, okay? Right, it's an easy phrase, really easy phrase. I'm just gonna have you repeat it 10 times. And I want you to really own that phrase, okay? You guys got it? Yeah? Okay, you're gonna go first. So your phrase is I am strong, right? Yeah, you're gonna say it to the crowd.
I am strong, 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 I am strong.
Okay, we got 10 there, okay? And now your phrase, so you're gonna say that phrase, right? And then your phrase is I am weak.
I am weak, 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 I am weak.
Okay, so now, that was not a good one. How do you feel right now?
That's not good.
It's not good, right? Not feeling good, right? So if I was to ask you all, right, you're gonna go into competition, right? We're gonna go wrestle some live matches right now, right? Based on your normal wrestling, how do you think you did? Did you do okay?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, right? Maybe a little bit of there. You're not feeling as good, right? Like you just said, I'm weak sometimes. Right? You're right there. But the idea, right, is that what I am saying to myself not only influences, right, my mental, but also influences my physical, right? I don't know if you know, anybody notice any difference in how they were saying it or their body posture when they were saying it?
Yeah.
What'd you notice?
He definitely did not want to keep repeating that to himself. You could
Yeah.
see his demeanor was like, he was like, hurry up and get to 10 because I don't want to keep saying this.
Yeah, he got to say it a lot quicker than I am strong, right? He was looking a lot more down, right? Like trying to avoid some eye contact with people you know in the crowd, right? And just saying it out loud. Now, we don't say these statements out loud, but many of us say these inside our heads. Right? You might not say, I am weak, but you might say, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I got this. Man, this kid's really tough. This is a big match. I don't know if I can do it. Right? We say these things inside our head, and it affects our confidence, and our confidence affects how we perform. Okay? Let's get 2 claps for our volunteers. You guys say I am strong one time, please.
I'm strong.
There we go. Okay. So that's what we're going to get into next, is this idea of confidence. Now, confidence is essentially the percentage of how certain you are about performing a task. So if you're 100% confident, that means you know you're going to perform that task no matter what. 100% confident. Now, most of us are not 100% confident. Most of us get close, but we still have a little bit of doubt. Even just 95% confident about it, you know, there's some wiggle room within there. That even that 5% is doubt that we have. And that doubt starts to creep in to how we are able to do. The less confident we are, the less that we can make decisions quickly, the less that we can utilize our full power, the less that we can react quickly, and then we can use our techniques that we need to. And so the 4 dimensions that we see with confidence is go into these 4 areas. So these 4 areas develop your confidence. So if you have a lot of past experience, and if you have a decent amount of experience wrestling, so you're probably pretty confident in certain areas, right? Especially your go-to moves. You're pretty confident you can probably do it. You can do that in a match, especially if it's not good. I'm pretty confident about that because I have a lot of past experience. I've put a lot of work into it. This is the biggest form of our confidence. This is why we put a lot of practice into things. Why we go into the resting room and we do moves over and over and over again, because we get more confident, more of that past experience. Now, past experience isn't only good things. We can have some failures and still have confidence from them. We can use that to our advantage. We also have, anybody know what vicarious experience is? Yeah, through someone else, right? That somebody else, anybody been in a duel before, and the person before you won, and now you felt like, I'm ready to go, like this person won, I win, and it starts taking a row, right? Or if somebody else does something really, really well, and you're like, oh man, like I just have to replicate them, that's vicarious experience. It also can be somewhat of a detriment, because if the person loses in front of you and you really focus on that, then that can obviously break down your confidence. So we got to use that sparingly. We also have our physical state. If you're not feeling very good, you're probably not going to be very confident. That makes so much sense. And the last one, the one we're going to focus on today, is our self-talk. And because this one, we can control. We can't always control how much experience we have going into a match. You already have what you have at that point. You can't control vicarious experience. It's either going to be it or not. You might be the first one up. You might be, I know in our state tournament, you're in a tunnel. You don't get to see anything else going on out there. You have to run outside and you just wrestle. You don't get to watch anybody else. Physical state, it is what it is. There are some things you can do, right? Neuroscience, the breathing exercise, some things there. You can't control, but some days you just aren't feeling. And you still have to be confident going into it. So the self-talk is where we're going to focus on. The thing we're going to talk about today, and you can write it down on your piece of paper or in your journal within there, is coming up with a confidence statement. You can call it a confidence statement, a power statement, an affirmation statement. I don't really care what you call it, but essentially coming up with something that you're going to tell yourself that gets you confident going into a match. That gets you to feel like, I can do it. Right? You can do this like a slogan, I just do it. Right? You might know Marshawn Lynch, and then you guys, I'm getting older, you guys are getting younger, right? Marshawn Lynch, what's his slogan? It's, who said it? Beast mode, right? Anybody know? Anybody heard about the Beastquake? Yeah. I know some of you were young back then. Beastquake, right? So if you don't know anything about Marshawn Lynch, really big dude for Seattle Seahawks for a long time. Beastquake essentially is that in Seattle they were in a wild card game, football wild card game. They were down, I think by like 8, 9 points. Having a touchdown, fourth quarter. He gets the ball and runs 7 yards. I think runs over at least 9 people on his way there. Right? And the crowd erupts so quickly in Seattle that it actually comes up on the Richter scale, the earthquake scale, right? So just so loud, so quickly it comes up there. And I can almost guarantee you, not 100%, but guarantee you that when they called the play, and he knew he was going to get the ball, he probably said at some point, Beast, I'm going to run over something. But the idea that he's just going to go through a wall, he's going to go through and get people to get that touchdown. He is 100% confident that he's going to be able to go through that.
So like Mike when he says I am speed.
I am speed, right? Actually, Life McQueen has a lot of sports psychology. We won't go into it. I watched a lot of Life McQueen. I have little kids, so they watch a lot of Life McQueen back in the day. But the I am speed, right? One I utilized that you guys can start to think about is what I came up with: impossible is nothing. All right, it's actually a quote about Muhammad Ali, back from the slogan of Adidas. All right, it says impossible is nothing, but a big word made by small people who find it easier in life to live. All right, impossible is not a fact, it's there. Impossible is nothing. So that's what I said to myself when I was competing. I don't care what this person's done. I don't care how good they are, how much stronger they are. At some point, everything in this world seemed impossible. Running under 4 minutes in a mile. Right? Swimming across the English Channel. Going to the moon. All these things were impossible at some point. One person did it, now all of a sudden, people can do it. So why can't I have that mentality going in? So I'm going to give you about the next 2 minutes or so, and I want you to think about what is a confidence statement, an affirmation statement, a power statement, something that will get you confident going into your match, going into competition that you can think, insert in your head, so you can make sure that we increase our confidence. And I'll get a couple examples for you. To give you about 2 minutes, think about it, write down either on your mindset quiz, or you can write it in your phone if you want to. I just realized I'm not. I am not. Exactly. There you go. I am not the camera.
He stole my slide. I wrote it for us.
What about little things now? Little things add up.
Okay, go ahead and write down what you got. Let's get some examples of what you all have. Okay, here we go. Listen up, listen up. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. Say what? Yeah, what he said, right? Okay, I came, I saw, I conquered. I will find a way, right? Yeah, what he said. Right? I don't know that. Yeah, that. Say it again. What's left, right? You cannot say about the last one. So no one can close it, right? What's the next? So I want you to have a quick video clip from an interview. You might know PJ Duke. PJ Duke, yeah. So I mean, quick clip about his confidence, what he was, especially going into. If you don't know, a little background, if you haven't kept up. In Final X, lost first match. Came back, won the next one, and ended up pinning Yanni. Hadn't been pinned supposedly quite a while. So I want you to see what his confidence is going into it, and it'll help us transition to our next topics of pressure and how to deal with failure versus success. Let's see if it works.
Okay, all right. PJ, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes! The man of the hour, PJ Duke. First off, thanks so much for joining us. It is very obvious you are still in high school. Your last day of school, before we get into the wrestling, how's it feel? You're almost done with high school.
Yeah, so today's my last day and just finishing up like 2 more periods, so it's pretty, I'm excited to move on, but I'm also a little upset to leave these people behind, but I'm not really leaving behind, but just moving to a bigger part of my life, and I'm really excited about that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, PJ, you stole the show at Final X, an unbelievable performance. I have a lot of questions about it. The first one I want to ask you, what did you tell yourself after match 1 that gave you the belief you could do what you did in matches 2 and 3?
Yeah, so after that first match, obviously I'm sure a lot of people kind of left me out after getting beat up a little bit, but in my head I kind of knew I could beat him the whole time, even that first match didn't go my way. Once I got my hands on him, I kind of felt that I was there and at that level. I just need to fix a few things, like I was just wrestling a little too hard through some positions and I need to slow down. I think could have been nerves, could have been just I was anxious to wrestle, but kind of just stayed focused and never counted myself out really. Like I said, I always believe in myself no matter what the score is or if I'm down. So yeah, I mean, I'm just being me and I always never count myself.
Okay? Never counts himself out. Right? I don't know what his confidence in is, but it's probably resulting around there. No matter what the situation, no matter how far down he is, no matter if he's already a match down, going into it. And that idea also goes into, because that's a pressure situation he's going to deal with. Right? Not only is he wrestling Yanni, been there for a little while, but he's also down match. Now the pressure's really on top of him. Now he's got to win 2 in a row to come back. And so dealing with that pressure is also the next thing. That affects our confidence. Going into a match, especially a high pressure match, how we see this pressure is to either increase our confidence or decrease our confidence. And to give you all a little bit of an illustration, a little bit of an analogy, I want you all to think about yourself as an NFL kicker. Okay? Does everybody know what an NFL kicker does? Yeah? Okay. Anybody not know what an NFL kicker does? You got to kick the ball through the yellow uprights, right? That's literally their only job, right, is to kick a little ball through the uprights. That's all they ask them. So I want you to put yourself in that situation. All right? You are an NFL kicker, whatever team you like. All right,
Great and Auburn.
okay, so whatever team you want, right? So you are the NFL kicker. Your team is in the Super Bowl. There are 3 seconds left in regulation, 3 seconds left in the entire game. Your team is down by 2 points. So don't think about football, a field goal is worth 3 points. Your team is down by 2 points. 3 seconds left. Your team is ball sitting on a 35-yard line. If you know anything about football, that's a 52-yard kick. 7 yards back from the line of scrimmage, 10 yards from the end zone, 52-yard kick. Not a chip shot by any means, but not the longest but here's that. The team takes a timeout. They've now freeze you. You get to sit in the huddle and think. What are some of your thoughts that you all might be having if you are an NFL kicker and they just took a timeout, possibly one of the biggest kicks in your career?
How good I'll look if I kick it?
Yeah, how good I'll look if I kick it? Okay.
Can't choke this.
Can't choke this.
My team's nervous and then I'm nervous.
Okay, so maybe feel a little bit nervous.
So like they think I'm nervous, so
Their coach is nervous, maybe. Now, how many of you are thinking something about like, don't miss this kick, don't mess it up, don't be like Meyer from the Cowboys. Sorry, not sorry. Right? This is 5 field goals in the game, right?
that game sucks, man. Why you gotta bring that up?
But the idea is that if you are thinking about missing, what do you think is more likely to happen? You're going to miss. Even if you don't say the word don't miss, you still are more likely to miss because it's this thing called ironic processing. Essentially, if you say the word don't, first you have to think about the action, then do the opposite. So essentially, if I say don't think of a pink spotted elephant. Some of you still thought about a pink spotted elephant, right? But I told you not to. It's the same thing when you're walking across a bridge and you say don't look down. What's the first thing you do? You look down, right?
So could I just say like miss it?
And then what's going to happen? Then you're going to miss it. No. Because what most of you are thinking about, and this is what happens. You can think about the Olympics, right? And then who says don't choke? Because this is what happens to a lot of athletes. You can think about Meyer if you want to. But a lot of athletes going in, they're thinking about what we call is a threat mentality. Oh my gosh, what happens if this goes wrong? What happens if I lose this match? It's a state championship. It's the US Open. I gotta win this match. It's final X. Whatever it might be, I gotta win this match. If I don't win this match, I'm gonna be disappointed. My parents are gonna be disappointed. My coaches are gonna be disappointed. I'm not gonna get another chance. If I'm thinking about it as a threat, it's more likely that threat is gonna happen. And it's gonna bring down your confidence because now you're focused on the bad outcomes. Rather, we want to think about it as a challenge. Going very similar back to our growth mindset, that I've got to see this as an opportunity. I got to see this, right? Think about PJ Duke, right? Hey, everybody's counting me out. Okay, what I have to do is come back. All I got to do is show my skill. If you listen to what he was talking about, he wasn't trying to like go off the rails. He's just like, hey, I got to work on these mistakes. I got to focus on what I can do in the situation. Focusing on the process, not focusing on the outcome. Seeing this as an opportunity because if you, let's go back to the NFL kicker. If you make it, are you the hero? Yeah, you're the hero. You were the person, right? So you can think about either direction. This is the difficult part about psychology is you can think about either way. You can think about it as a threat or a challenge, and they both might be right. Because if you miss that kick, you will lose the game. The game is over. That is true. It's also true if you make the kick, you are the hero. So neither is not reality. Sometimes we think our counterproductive thoughts or these thoughts that aren't working for us are not reality. It isn't reality. If I don't win, if I don't score in the state championship match, then I don't win. I don't get the state championship. That is the reality of things. But if you focus on it, you focus on a threat, it's more likely that's going to happen. And that choice is yours and yours alone. Coach can't make you think that way. They can try to. They try to convince you that way. But only you get to decide which one you think about. And your choice determines how well you do. Gives you the best opportunity. Challenge. Or it's a threat. Now, after dealing with pressure, dealing with the situation, maybe you have confidence going in. Now, how do we deal with the difference between success and failure? Because that also increases or decreases our confidence. We need to see our success and failure differently. To show you an example of somebody that has been on the big stage, has shown both failures and successes, and I think interprets in a nice way, is Conor McGregor. Anybody know who Conor McGregor is? Yeah. So we're going to watch two quick clips from Conor McGregor. And I want you to pay attention to what he says after his failures and what he says after his successes. So the first one is where he gets knocked out by Nate Diaz. You might remember he moved up weight classes, got up there, knocked out. So he's going to talk about that. And then he's going to talk about his knockout that was like 14 seconds, right? How he interprets those differences. So I want you to pay attention to those differences within there.
Thank you very much, guys, and Connor, thank you very much for doing this. Can you describe the emotions after a loss like that?
You know, it stings real bad, but this is the fight business. I've been on the end of many defeats in my life, and I've rose back, so I will not shy away from it. I will not make excuses for it. I will assess it and come back.
I know it's still very fresh, but in hindsight, do you feel like you almost bit off more than you could chew there?
I just misinterpreted his efficiency. He was very efficient, and he took shots well, and he played with his energy well, whereas I didn't. I blew out. He did not. He almost felt I hurt him many times in the fight. I abandoned the body shots. The body shots were doing damage, but he caught me 1 or 2 jabs to the body, and I avoided his body then after that. But he played well. He went into autopilot mode where I panicked a little bit, and this is it. You win or you learn. So,
does this result mean that you're done fighting at 170?
Yeah, definitely not. No, I'll take any fights. When the history books are in, I show up. I had many opportunities to walk from this fight. Even after Nate got brought in, you know. So I show up to fight. If there's 170, you know, I enjoyed the test. I feel a little bit more practice. I could be aware, you know, if I was fighting a man my own weight, 155 and 145, they're going to be KO from them shots, you know, so I feel a little bit of an adjustment of knowing that the opponent will be able to take more of it, and then I could continue to compete at that weight, no problem. If there's a fight there, ring me up, I'll answer the bell, no problem.
So that's his failure, all right? So I want you to hold on to that. I want you to see his demeanor, his focus when after a big success.
There is only one Conor McGregor, and he is your new featherweight world champion. Conor, 13 seconds, we have confirmed. It is the fastest finish in a title fight ever in UFC history. Wow. How do you feel right now?
I feel clean. I feel like my work has paid off.
Your state of zen certainly paid off as well this week. It took very little energy to finish that fight. Tell me how you saw that opening and what you landed.
I just wanted to enjoy it, you know. A lot of people force their shots, and I honestly believe power is an illusion. It's the perception of power is like if it's tense and squeezed, but to me that can be seen a mile away. So I just like to place and just let it go. It's 4-ounce gloves. You just need to tip the chin, and that's it.
Well, it certainly didn't take you long to be able to do that. When you envisioned this fight, did you ever think that it would be going this fast?
Yeah, I said close enough. I wasn't far off. I did say it would be over in 1 round. It was a lot earlier than I did say, but I did predict the shot because I did say the right hand would get him in trouble. He'd overextend on the right hand. He'd have that force, that power, and I would just and bang. I actually did say I would slip and bang the left hand. I'm sure that will surface that I did say that exact shot. So once again, Mystic Mac comes true.
Mystic Mac prevails. Why can no one take that left hand?
I don't know, it's too clean, too precise. So that's it. I hit you, you fall.
You still feel very zen, even to be around.
I'm just enjoying it, you know, I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm feeling good.
It's a lot to take in. Tell me about...
Great year. It's been a great year for myself. It's been a great year for the promotion, for everyone involved, for my family, my team. I'm just extremely happy. It's been a lot of hard work to get here. We're here now. We're at the top, number one, pound for pound. Ireland reigns supreme.
So where did you all see the difference? Let's focus on the failure. What did he really highlight? What did he focus on for the failure? Yes, mistakes, right? And mistakes that he could improve from. Not things that I can't improve, but things I didn't do correctly at that time. Okay?
He had a growth mindset.
More of that growth mindset. Okay, I'm embracing a challenge. I came out there. I didn't try my best, but hey, that's a setback. I can come back. Okay?
He didn't like talk about his failures because like I enjoyed the test.
Yeah. Right? Like, hey, I lost, but that's not who I am. That was just one attempt at this. Right? This doesn't define who I am. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back really strong here.
When she said, this just means that you're not gonna try to fight at 170 pounds or at 170 pounds again.
Yeah.
He said, no.
Yeah, that's not what it means. I can continue. I just now need to go back to the drawing board. I need to work a little bit harder for that. An opportunity, right? To improve, then I can go from there. Now, what about his success? What did he really highlight with his success?
His preparation.
Preparation, the hard work that went into it, right? The effort that he put into it, right? Yeah, he says power statement, right? He was confident. He knew that that's who he is. He can show up. If he shows up 100%, and 100% confident, with the right preparation, then I'm going to do well. That's who I really am. And that's how we need to see our differences between success and failure. When we fail, right, it's not that is who I am. That is one attempt. If I don't do something well, that doesn't mean that I'm always going to do it well. Not at all. Right? It just means that I tried, gave my best, and it just wasn't that day. And maybe I made mistakes and I need to improve on. It's a learning opportunity. I know I can improve from it. I know that is temporary. It's not something that's going to continue. Right? You guys have baseball, they call about slumps. You know, in baseball they have slumps where they go through stretches where they just don't feel like. A lot of those slumps is a lot mental. Because they think they're stuck in that slump. They think that they are not going to get out of it. And that extends that period of time. And so rather, right, when we have that success, we got to see as authentically who we are. That I showed up today. This is who I am. I can do it next time. I have the effort and skill that led to it. Not because I got lucky, but I put in that preparation. I put in that work that led me to this good outcome. Maybe there was some luck in there. And I even think luck is just being put in the effort and they give yourself the right opportunity. You put yourself in the right opportunity, yeah, you can get a little bit of luck, but you got to put yourself there. People don't just get lucky from, automatically just showing up. You got to have some effort and skill led. Also the winning streak. Now I can continue. What I did well in this match, or the fight, or whatever it is, use that for next time. Use that success and boost your confidence going into it. And both of these, success and failure, is about the future. How can I use this for my next opportunity? How can I use this either failure or that success? I'm future focused, using, kind of sustaining what I did or improving upon what I did so far.
Do you think like when Yanni was going into that second match, he was like asking himself like, what if I lose to a high schooler? Like, just because like everyone was just like looking at it like it's gonna be easy for him.
It could, because this is the difficult part about pressure and success and failure, is that it's for both people, right? There's a pressure on Yanni that if he can repeat this high schooler, and then there's the high schooler that has a little bit less pressure, I think, right? But he's got to win, right, in his mind. And your perception, right, what you are thinking becomes more of your reality. So if you think, oh my gosh, I have to beat this person, right? Or if he loses that second match, and then all the pressure's on him, like, oh my gosh, I don't see it as a one-time thing. I'm not saying Yanni this way. I just don't know Yanni from anybody else. I know him from TV and stuff like that. But if he did go into that, after that failure, like, oh my gosh, he beat me, right? He might beat me next time, right? He didn't possibly learn from it. He didn't think of it as temporary. Hopefully he did, right? But But if that is, then it leads to a path that doesn't increase your confidence. And that's what we're looking for. To try to see these as different things. But still, both of them are future focused from there. Questions on that? Good. Okay, so we have our last thing. But to get ourselves there, I need everybody to stand up. Everybody stand up. And this is what I'm having you all do, right? To show you a little bit of how this works, right? I'm going to have you picture in your mind these two different objects, right? One of these objects is a kettlebell. Does anybody not know what a kettlebell is? It's those things that a round bell in the weight room has a little handle on top. Usually you're moving around. Right, everybody knows? Okay. So this is what I'm going to have you all do. I'm going to have you put your hands out in front of you. Right? Just kind of equally put them out in front of you. I'm going to have you move your hands after this. Yeah, so have it up like you're going to hold things. So I'm going to have you picture things in your mind of these different objects. Okay? So I'm having you close your eyes. Right? You don't have to move your hands after this. Just kind of help you be able to visualize what's in your hands. So go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to visualize with as much detail as you can, as much information in this, whether it smells like, what it feels like, what it looks like, these two different objects. So here we go. So make sure your eyes are closed, right? Keep your hands out in front of you. You don't have to move them at all. But I want you to picture in your left hand, that's the one that makes an L, right? So we need a little help, right? So your left hand, I want you to picture that kettlebell. It's a 15-pound kettlebell. So it's not, you don't have to move your hands, guys. Keep them right there in front of you, right? But I want you to picture that 15-pound kettlebell. It's not super heavy, but you can feel the weight in your hand. You can feel the metallic feel. You can feel the muscles kind of working a little bit there. Right? Versus in your right hand, so your other hand, I want you to picture 3 white feathers. Very light, barely can feel they're even there, especially in your left hand, that heavy, starting to really wear on that left hand. Starting to really pull down on the left hand there. Versus the right hand, just kind of nice and light and easy. Don't worry, freeze, don't move, like you're in a little kindergarten class. Don't move. I want you to open your eyes, right? Still don't move. I want you to look at your hands, and look at the hands to your people to the left and right. And then I want you to take a seat. Everybody take a seat. Hear me clap once. Hear me clap twice. Perfect. So, what you all notice? This man was a little more tired. Okay, you felt that. So maybe the left hand was a little bit lower. Anybody see their left hand was maybe a little bit higher?
It's mental. There's nothing there.
There's nothing there, right? So why did some of your all's hands move? Because you were picturing. The more detail that you put into place, the more likely your brain is going to send those signals down to your muscles. So when we talk about visualization as imagery, we can use the fact that our brain is very powerful. Also the fact, a little philosophy moment, is that the fact that your brain has no idea what's happening in the outside world. You tell your brain what is happening through our senses. What we see, hear, feel, taste, all those things, we tell our brain what's going on. That's why sometimes there's those things like the blue dress, golden white dress, black and blue dress, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's the same image, but we all see it differently because we're telling our brain something different. And when that goes on, we can use that to our advantage. How we use that to our advantage, it's still sending those signals down. When we are practicing something, when we're preparing going in, it is sending those signals down and it's creating muscle memory. So this is one of the biggest skills, if you want to go into a little more because we're getting short on time. But you can use this in there's more ways, but these are 4 major areas you can use this imagery of visualization. Same thing, just different words, the same thing. You can use it for preparation. Before going into a match, you can see yourself performing well. What is the first 30 seconds you're going to do? What are you going to do going into it? You can also use this for confidence. Seeing yourself finishing the goal. Seeing yourself winning the match. Get yourself confident going in. You can also use it for motivation. To push through. We have these things called 1820s. They really, really suck. Right? So you do all the work and you got to do all these fresh. And in that, you have to motivate yourself. It's mental stuff. It's a grind. And so a part of that is that motivation. Maybe seeing yourself on top of the podium is going to help me motivate myself going forward. And the biggest one that hopefully you all utilize from here on out is using it for mental practice, to getting some extra reps. I know my athletes in here, they make fun of me all the time because when I'm showing moves, maybe you all saw this, I usually close my eyes. I do it a lot, right? Everybody notices it because what I'm doing is I'm trying to picture it from your all's point of view. When I'm getting a technique, I don't care what I see because I'm not showing it for myself, I'm showing it for you all. So I close my eyes to be able to see from what are you all seeing from the other perspective. Because I want to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. And also most of the time, I'm not actually looking, as JD kind of said, I'm not looking at where you are. I'm thinking about where you're going to be. And that is visualizing because I'm maybe 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. When I'm on top, especially parterre, when I'm on top, I can't see everything. My head is sometimes top down low. I have to be able to visualize where is your limit, where is the pressure, where is things going on, and I got to use my brain part of that. Also, using technique, Ben Askren really talked about a whole lot when he was in class, which I don't highly suggest doing in class. But when he's in class, he talked about scrambling. He talked about all the different things that he learned and he tried out. He did a lot of it in classroom. He thought about, okay, what if I do this? This person does this, and then I can do this. And then he goes to practice and try it out. But he did it beforehand to be able to work through. And that's what I know me and Marty do it quite a bit. Like, hey, what if we do this? We don't do it physically because we want to run through like different scenarios really quickly. And sometimes we can't always, see somebody else and we're like, okay, well, what if we do this, this, and this? That's how you can use visualization, to get you extra reps and to see different ways you can use your technique to help yourself out in these situations. So these are the different ways. I'm going to kind of show it up there. If you want to go into more depth about these, you can Google it. You can come talk to me offline as well. So afterwards, the next couple of days, these are the things you want to try to include in your imagery. So what's the physical? What are you physically doing? What's your emotion going on? What's the task you're trying to do? What's the timing of things? Are you slowing it down? Are you speeding it up? Right? What are you trying to learn? Right? What's the environment? Because sometimes maybe you're trying to think about like state championship, or maybe you're thinking about like trying to go to Final X. What's that environment going to be? It's going to be loud, right? You're not going to really hear your coach very much. There's going to be whistles going on. There's going to be things going on. You want to put yourself in an environment. And then lastly, what perspective are you trying to utilize? There's 2 different perspectives is the last thing I have for you all. One's a first-person shooter, like first-person shooting games. You guys play those kind of video games, right? Like Call of Duty, those kind of things, right? When you're in your own eyes. So that's your first person, right? Then you have your third person. That's like, you guys play Fortnite? Yeah. Or Gears of War, or your Grand Theft Auto is not the best video game, but you guys probably know what I'm talking about. But it's those that you see your own body. Really helpful. I know we utilize it a lot of, hey, I got to move my limb here, but how does it look like from the other perspective? As I said, when I'm showing technique, I am thinking about it from your all's point of view. I'm putting myself so I can see myself what I'm doing. So if you want to talk about this a little more, we can talk about it afterwards, but we are over our time already. Hopefully you got at least one of these things, trying to incorporate it from there. I'll hand it over to Mike. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Mike, do you have anything else to say for them? Hey, sit back down, sit back down.
Everybody did a really good job today too, like coming back to refocus, so that's really good. Keep trying, keep practicing. I really like the coaches when they do the quick claps. It's like, oh yeah, I need to refocus and get back in. So great job today. How'd it feel? I know it's a little exhausting. The travel day's over, first training day. Tomorrow should be a good day. That's Wednesday. Thursday, you'll probably be pretty pooped, right? For some reason, they figured out at the training center, day 3 of training is always kind of like a bit of a drop-off. So tomorrow, you should still feel pretty good. So stay light, stay fresh. And then when the struggle starts to happen, maybe a little bit more on Thursday, just remember, oh yeah, this is normal. Most of the people that come to training center, day 3 is a little bit tougher, but I'm gonna use my confidence. I'm gonna use that positive mindset, and I'm gonna push through that. I'm gonna get the best training I can out of it. So this is awesome. Thanks, Kyle, so much for doing this, and have a great night.